How a Little Penguin Painted the First Rainbow in Antarctica. Once upon a time, in a faraway land of eternal winter, there lived a little penguin named Articuso. Unlike his fellow penguins, who were content sliding on their bellies and waddling around, Articuso's heart brimmed with a longing for something more. Something that would add a splash of vibrancy to their monochrome world. See, Articuso yearned to see a rainbow. He had heard tales from the elder penguins about these magnificent arches of colors that spanned the sky, but they were just stories. No one had ever witnessed one in the icy plains of Antarctica. Every day when the sun peeked over the horizon, casting its pale light on the endless expanse of white, Articuso would shuffle to the highest point nearby, his stubby wings outstretched like those of an airplane, trying to catch a glimpse of the elusive rainbow. The other penguins would watch him, amusement dancing in their beady eyes, for they knew his obsession with colors was nothing but a foolish fantasy. One particularly dreary day, after yet another failed attempt at spotting a rainbow, Articuso sat dejectedly on a snow-covered rock, his chin resting on his flippers. Suddenly, he had an epiphany. Why wait for the mythical rainbows to appear when he could make one himself? Articuso waddled home, a newfound determination in his waddle. He had to paint a rainbow, but how? He rummed family for some discarded boxes, fashioning them into a ladder. Then he marched to a shop in the settlement run by a kindly walrus named Wally, who sold everything from fish to brightly colored paints. Articuso had saved up some fish bones from his meals, which he exchanged for a small tin of paints. Each color held the promise of magic, and he couldn't wait to use them. He started his ascent up the rickety ladder, holding the paint tin like a precious jewel. Reaching the top, he looked out at the vast empty sky and began to paint, streaking broad strokes of crimson across the canvas of the clouds. Below, the penguins stared in bewilderment, wondering what their friend was doing. Hadn't he learned that rainbows weren't made of paint? Ignoring their murmurs, Articuso continued his work. Next, he daubed glowing orange across the sky, followed by sunny yellow. He mixed the colors carefully, creating shades that danced and shimmered. Yet still, there was no sign of a rainbow. Disheartened, Articuso leaned back, letting the wind ruffle his feathers. Maybe his dream was indeed a foolish one. As if reading his thoughts, an old, wise albatross swooped down beside him, its feathers ruffled by the wind. "Little penguin," it said, its voice raspy with age, "why do you paint the sky?" Startled, Articuso jumped, nearly knocking over his paint tin. "I want to see a rainbow," he whispered, ashamed. The albatross tilted its head, regarding the young penguin with knowing eyes. "A rainbow is not just a mere arc of colors, little one," it said, its gaze distant, as if seeing something beyond the clouds. "It's a symbol of hope, a promise of joy after the storm. To make a rainbow, you must capture the essence of joy." Articuso frowned, confused by the cryptic message. The albatross spread its vast wings, preparing for flight. "Go to the highest iceberg," it said, "and don't stop until you find it." With a grateful nod, Articuso scrambled down the ladder and raced toward the sea. He needed to find the highest iceberg, a place where no penguin had ever ventured before. The journey was long and arduous, but fueled by his dream, Articuso kept going. Finally, as the sun began its slow descent, he spotted it, an iceberg that pierced the sky like a jagged tooth. Gasping for breath, he slid down its icy side and stood at its tip. Here the wind whipped around him, biting at his skin, but he hardly noticed. Lost in the vastness of the sky above him, he saw it. A single ray of sunlight piercing through the clouds, casting a tiny square of gold at his feet. As he watched, the square shimmered, then expanded, revealing a kaleidoscope of colors, a perfect miniature of a rainbow. Joy surged through Articuso, and he understood. A rainbow wasn't just about colors. It was about finding the beauty in the ordinary, the extraordinary in the everyday. It was about hope, about the promise of joy. With renewed purpose, he picked up his paintbrush and dipped it in the brightest yellow paint he could find. Then he began to trace the edges of the miniature rainbow in the sky, his heart pounding with each stroke. Around him the wind howled, but he could hear nothing. All he saw was the rainbow, the beautiful arc of colors that he had longed to see for so long. He painted with all his might, and as the last stroke touched the sky, the miniature rainbow exploded into a brilliant arch. stretching from one end of the horizon to the other. It was bigger, brighter, more magnificent than he had ever dreamed. Overwhelmed with happiness, Articuso closed his eyes, a single tear rolling down his cheek. His dream had come true. He had painted the first rainbow in Antarctica. News of the amazing spectacle spread like wildfire through the settlements. Soon, penguins from far and wide were gathering at the highest iceberg, marveling at the breathtaking sight. Articuso, the little penguin who had dared to dream, stood among them, his heart swelling with pride. From that day on, the highest iceberg became a sacred place where hope bloomed even in the heart of winter, where joy danced in the face of adversity. And every time a rainbow graced the sky, the penguins of Antarctica remembered the little penguin who had dared to paint the sky and bring color to their lives. So whenever you see a rainbow, remember Articuso, the little penguin who dared to dream. Remember that even the smallest creature with the biggest dream can change the world. Because sometimes all it takes is a little bit of paint, a lot of hope, and a heart full of joy. And now, my little friends, it's time for me to paint my own rainbow on your imagination. What colors will your dreams be today? Perhaps you'll dream of a world where puppies fly or kittens dance in the moonlight. Maybe you'll see a rainbow so bright it lights up the whole night sky. Your dreams are like colors, my dears, and I want to see them all. So grab your brushes, dip them in the brightest hues, and paint your dreams. Let your imagination run wild and free. And always remember, no matter how dark the day seems, there's a rainbow waiting to be found. It might be hidden behind clouds or tucked away in the gray, but with a little hope and a lot of love, you can paint your own rainbow and bring color to the world. Thank you for joining me on this magical adventure today. Till next time, keep dreaming big, keep believing in the magic, and most importantly, keep painting your dreams. And remember, the world needs your colors, so let them shine.